sky me, where brains go to broadcast.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation where, I don't know, you have this really brilliant idea, maybe a groundbreaking insight, but then
hmm
when you try to put it into words, maybe in an email or a report, or even just explaining it out loud, it just doesn't quite land. It doesn't have that punch you know it deserves.
hmm
Or maybe the other way around, you've read something incredibly complex, really dense stuff, yet it felt, well, effortless, crystal clear, almost like the author knew exactly what you were thinking.
Yeah, that phenomenon, that gap, between knowing something and actually communicating it effectively.
Mm,
That's really what we're digging into today.
okay.
The secret to that kind of really impactful clarity often doesn't lie in, grand, eloquent statements.
hmm
It's more in the masterful, almost like surgical construction of the most fundamental unit of written communication,
Which is?
the humble paragraph. It's a building block we all think we understand, but honestly, very few people truly master it.
Exactly. So today, we're not just like defining paragraph structure in a textbook way. We're really launching an in-depth exploration into the art of it, the strategic power behind crafting truly effective paragraphs.
Right.
Think of it less like learning basic grammar, maybe more like understanding I don't know, the advanced engineering behind a structure that doesn't just stand up, but actually captivates people, persuades them, endures. We're talking about the blueprint for, well, not just a house for your ideas, but maybe like a fortress for your arguments.
Indeed, we'll definitely delve beyond the basics to make sure your thoughts aren't just, present on the page. They need to be powerfully presented, meticulously organized, and strategically compelling. This whole conversation should really help transform your writing, whether that's for a critical business proposal, maybe a persuasive academic paper, or even just clear internal communications,
Yeah.
making it more impactful, uh, unequivocally coherent, and ultimately just dramatically easier for your audience to not just understand, but to really absorb and maybe even act upon.
And for you listening, the real benefit here isn't just, theoretical knowledge. By the end of our conversation, you should have a pretty refined framework, a way to organize your thoughts with, let's say, surgical precision, to grab your reader's attention sometimes with just a single sentence, and then guide them seamlessly through your arguments. This isn't about rote learning, it's more about strategic efficiency, right?
Hmm.
Empowering you to save valuable time, cut through maybe some information overload, and make sure your message resonates every single time.
Precisely. This journey isn't just about, following stylistic rules. It's about elevating your communication so it becomes a strategic advantage. You'll gain advanced tools to make your writing not just hold together, but to actively compel, to convey your precise meaning without any shadow of ambiguity, and to leave a lasting intellectual, maybe even emotional impression long after your words have been read. It's about making your written communication a real force multiplier for your ideas.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit more. You mentioned the house analogy. Let's maybe push that a little further. Imagine you're writing, okay, as an architectural project, you're constructing a house. You might have the absolute finest materials, brilliant ideas, undeniable facts, deep insights, compelling data. But if those materials aren't arranged with like deliberate intent, if the underlying blueprint is flawed or maybe just ignored, the whole structure won't just fail to impress. It might actually collapse, right? Leaving your brilliant ideas stuck, or worse, misunderstood.
That's a really powerful metaphor, and it truly gets to the heart of the challenge. You see, an effective paragraph isn't just a random collection of sentences. It's a meticulously engineered unit of thought.
Engineered, I like that.
Yeah. Just like a well-designed house needs that unshakable foundation,
Yeah.
right? And clearly defined rooms, each serving a distinct purpose, and a robust roofline holding it all together cohesively. A truly strong paragraph demands specific components to achieve that effectiveness, that coherence. Without this underlying architectural structure, even the most profound or painstakingly researched content can just descend into disorganization, confusion, and ultimately it becomes utterly ineffective for the reader. It turns from this like functional, inviting place for your ideas into just an incomprehensible pile of stuff.
Okay, so if we're building this architectural marvel for our ideas, what are the core, like the non-negotiable components, the things that define every strong, purposeful paragraph? We often hear it's three crucial parts, but you're saying the interplay is where the real, the magic or the frustration happens. Let's start with the foundation, what we call the topic sentence.
Right, the topic sentence. In our advanced architectural analogy, it's actually much more than just the foundation. It's like the master blueprint for that specific room, that single unit of thought.
Okay, the blueprint.
Yeah, this is the main idea of your paragraph, the singular focused concept that the entire paragraph is going to explore or explain or maybe vehemently support. It clearly signals to anyone entering that room what its function is, its central theme, what they should expect to find inside. And crucially, it acts as a precise signpost. It directly connects to the main point, the thesis of your whole document, guiding your reader not just through a paragraph, but through your entire argument. It's like the promise you make to your reader about what's coming next.
Okay, so the topic sentence makes the promise, sets the direction. What then is the role of what we call the body of the paragraph? How do we strategically, fill that room once the blueprint's set?
Well, once that initial promise is made, the body of the paragraph is all about fulfilling that promise. These are the supporting sentences, they're the walls, the intricate furniture, the carefully chosen decor that give your room its substance, its purpose. Their primary role is to develop, elaborate on, and robustly prove the controlling idea you've established in your topic sentence. They provide all the necessary furnishings, the granular details, the compelling evidence, the logical explanations, the vivid examples that flesh out your main idea, making it not just understandable, but ideally, utterly convincing and memorable. Each supporting sentence has to directly and powerfully relate back to and amplify that initial topic sentence, making sure no idea feels, out of place or just thrown in there.
And then finally, to get that sense of completeness, that permanence, we need to cap it off. What's the strategic function, often maybe underestimated, of the concluding sentence?
The concluding sentence is precisely that. It's the roof. It brings a sense of finality, of integration to your paragraph. This final sentence strategically summarizes the main point of that specific paragraph. It draws together all the ideas you've presented and reiterates the core message. But, and this is where the art comes in, it does so in a fresh way, often maybe looking forward a bit, providing that sense of completion while subtly linking back to your overall argument. Or maybe even setting a subtle expectation for the next paragraph. It's like the capstone that reinforces the structure. It provides definitive closure before your reader transitions, mentally and physically, to the next section or the next room in your intellectual house.
So it's really not just a collection of sentences thrown together. It's a meticulously engineered unit, like you said, where every single part serves a distinct, interconnected purpose.
Absolutely. Think of it as a synergistic system. The topic sentence starts the conversation, gives the reader a clear destination. The body delivers the journey itself, packed with robust evidence and clear explanations. And the conclusion provides that vital sense of arrival, reinforcement of understanding, and subtly prepares the reader for the next idea. These aren't isolated bits. They're an integrated, dynamic system, all calibrated to deliver a single, focused idea to your reader with maximum clarity, precision, and hopefully persuasive force. When you truly master this architecture, your writing goes beyond just sharing information. It becomes a powerful, engaging, and highly effective communication tool.
Okay, let's really zoom in now on that critical foundation, the topic sentence. We often kind of feel a powerful one, don't we? It's that immediate sense of clarity, that feeling of knowing exactly where a paragraph is going, even before you read the next word. But what actually makes it masterful?
Indeed. Think about the most effective communication you encounter every day. Maybe a news headline, a compelling executive summary, even just a well-structured email. Can you, as an informed reader, reasonably predict the entire scope of the message, or at least the core argument of that paragraph, just from that very first sentence?
Good question.
If you can, you've likely witnessed an expertly crafted topic sentence in action. It's not just a clarity tool, it's a strategic lever for influence. At its core, a truly effective topic sentence marries a crystal-clear main idea with the writer's specific, sometimes nuanced attitude or opinion on that idea.
Okay.
It doesn't just need a subject. It strategically positions your unique take on it, establishing your authority and perspective right from the start.
That's a really crucial distinction. It's not just a label, it's more like a declaration. Let's maybe break down an example to highlight the strategic positioning. Say a sentence asserts, creating a national set of standards for math and English education will demonstrably improve student learning outcomes across a majority of states.
Okay, notice the sophisticated layering there. This sentence doesn't just vaguely mention education standards.
Right.
Instead, it decisively expresses the writer's favorable and confident position on standardizing math and English education. And it also subtly limits the scope to a majority of states, which adds nuance. Immediately, it sets a precise expectation for you, the reader. You anticipate the following discussion will give compelling supporting evidence, reasoned arguments, articulating why these national standards would, in the writer's view, lead to better student learning outcomes.
Makes sense.
So if the paragraph then suddenly shifted, maybe started discussing only education funding or focused entirely on one state's unique curriculum, that topic sentence, even though it seems strong at first, would become misleading. It's all about setting and then impeccably fulfilling accurate and precise expectations.
So here's maybe a practical tip, a strategic self-check for you listening. When you've drafted a paragraph, try this. Imagine just showing the first sentence to a smart colleague. Ask them, based only on this opening sentence, what specific argument or insight do you expect this paragraph to develop? If their prediction isn't remarkably close to what you intended, or if it's just really vague, that's a clear sign your topic sentence, while maybe grammatically sound, isn't doing its strategic job effectively. It probably needs a tweak, a refinement. This brings us to something really interesting, and honestly, a point where even experienced writers can stumble. The critical difference between just stating a subject and presenting a focused argument about that subject. It's the difference between kind of rambling about a topic versus asserting a precise, defensible point regarding it.
Precisely. Every truly powerful topic sentence masterfully integrates two critical interdependent elements. A main idea and a controlling idea.
Okay, main idea and controlling idea.
Yeah. The main idea is, simply put, the subject matter, the topic itself, what the paragraph is fundamentally about. But the controlling idea, that's your specific authorial stance, your unique opinion, or the precise argument you're making about that subject. It's this controlling idea that acts as the paragraph's internal compass. It dictates its trajectory, guiding the reader not just to the subject, but to your particular perspective, your analytical lens. This is where the strategic impact truly lies.
Let's use a clear example, maybe even a slightly controversial one, to really sharpen this distinction. Let's take the main idea, marijuana. Now, listen to how a subtle shift in the controlling idea can dramatically pivot the entire paragraph's focus, even though the core subject is the same.
Okay, so for instance, a controlling idea framed around public health concerns could lead to marijuana, when used by adolescents, demonstrably acts as a destructive influence, with emerging research linking it to long-term brain development challenges.
Right, very specific negative angle.
Exactly. The controlling idea here spotlights its negative influence and specific developmental impacts. It immediately signals a discussion focused on its detrimental aspects.
Okay, or let's take a completely different perspective. The pronounced anti-nausea properties inherent in marijuana offer a critical lifeline for a significant number of cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy, fundamentally improving their quality of life.
See, now the controlling idea shifts entirely to its targeted medical efficacy, specifically its anti-nausea capabilities. It frames marijuana as a highly beneficial therapeutic agent in this specific context.
And maybe one more, a sociopolitical angle.
Sure. How about the widespread legalization of marijuana while generating tax revenue paradoxically correlates with a measurable increase in the demand for Class A and Class B illicit substances in certain demographics, necessitating careful policy reevaluation. Here, the controlling idea points to a complex potential societal consequence of legalization, a nuanced correlation with other drug use, prompting a discussion of regulatory implications.
Fascinating. You can really see how the exact same core subject of marijuana can launch a vastly different, yet equally focused discussions, just based on the deliberate choice of that controlling idea. This distinction isn't just, about being technically correct. It sounds absolutely paramount for crafting focused, coherent, and strategically impactful writing that nails your intended message.
It really is the rudder for the paragraph. Without that well-defined controlling idea, your paragraph just becomes intellectually untethered. It drifts aimlessly through generalities instead of making a sharp, incisive point.
So for our listeners who are really keen now to consistently craft these powerful topic sentences, what are the key strategic considerations? Beyond just the basic definitions, what are maybe the 5 hallmarks of an excellent, not just okay, topic sentence?
Right. These aren't just rules to memorize. Think of them as strategic principles, things you cultivate through practice. They're designed to ensure your topic sentence acts as an inviting, crystal clear, and compelling gateway to your paragraph, maximizing its initial impact and overall clarity.
Okay, hallmark number 1.
First, a truly excellent topic sentence provides an accurate and precise indication of the content that will follow in the subsequent sentences. It's all about setting an impeccable expectation.
Don't be vague.
Exactly. A common misstep is being too broad. For instance, a merely adequate topic sentence might be, people often overlook the profound sacrifices made by firefighters in their physically and emotionally grueling profession. Okay, true, but it's way too general if your paragraph is actually about one specific incident.
Right.
A much stronger, more strategically focused example would be, during the harrowing Black September riots, the courageous actions of Engine Company 3B dramatically exemplified self-sacrifice and unwavering dedication under extreme duress. See how laser-focused that is? It indicates a particular incident, a specific unit, the exact nature of their heroism. It perfectly sets the stage for the specific story to follow.
Got it. Okay, second hallmark. This sounds like it connects back to our dynamic duo.
It does. A truly effective topic sentence seamlessly integrates both its topic and a sophisticated controlling idea or nuanced opinion. The goal is to avoid just blandly announcing things. Right. No. In this paragraph, I will discuss.
Please know, a weak example would be exactly that kind of academic signpost. This report will now proceed to discuss the alarming escalation of suicide rates among young professionals in metropolitan areas. It just announces a topic, offers no stance.
Okay, so stronger.
A far stronger, more impactful topic sentence, one that presents the writer's considered opinion and implicitly frames the discussion, is, the accelerating suicide rate among young professionals represents a critical and multifaceted public health crisis demanding immediate concerted intervention. That immediately signals the writer's urgency, their expert assessment, and the direction the analysis will take. Much more engaging.
Definitely. Okay, third hallmark. Sounds like this one's crucial.
Non-negotiable. An excellent topic sentence must be crystal clear and effortlessly easy to follow. Precision doesn't require complicated prose. Clarity is king.
Don't get bogged down. Absolutely. Consider this verbose, almost impossible example. In general, the process of developing an essay, a doctoral thesis, or indeed any significant academic or professional document can be rendered considerably more efficient and of a substantially higher quality if one initially constructs a comprehensive, well-structured outline of which myriad distinct types exist.
Wow. Yeah, that's a mouthful. I'm already lost.
Right. It's exhausting. A strategically superior, much clearer topic sentence distills that complexity. Most forms of impactful writing are significantly enhanced and streamlined by the initial development of a robust outline. Cuts through the fluff, simplifies the core statement, makes it instantly digestible and effective.
Much better. Okay, fourth hallmark. This one sounds subtle, but important, especially when you've done a lot of research.
It is. A masterfully crafted topic sentence categorically does not include supporting details. It's the strategic headline, not the whole news article packed into one sentence.
Don't give away the good stuff too early.
Exactly. A weak example might be, implementing a salary cap would fundamentally improve the competitive balance in professional baseball for several compelling reasons, most notably by preventing a handful of dominant teams from monopolizing championships year after year, which alienates fan bases.
That last part, about the championship monopoly, that's a specific supporting argument. It belongs in the body, not crammed into the topic sentence.
Okay, so what's the stronger version?
A stronger topic sentence, one that sets up the argument without prematurely revealing all its parts, is, introducing a judicious salary cap would strategically enhance the overall competitive landscape of professional baseball for a multitude of reasons. Sets the stage, creates intrigue.
Nice. And finally, the fifth hallmark.
A truly engaging topic sentence captivates the reader with judiciously chosen, impactful vocabulary. Words are your most potent tools. Use them to invite, not just inform. Make it interesting.
Okay, give us an example. Think about the difference between a merely factual, almost flat statement like, the military requires improved equipment to effectively carry out its missions. Accurate, yes, engaging, not really.
Right, a bit bland.
Now contrast that with, the appalling and systemic deficiency in critical resources provided to our military personnel constitutes an outrageous betrayal of trust, demanding our immediate and unequivocal attention.
Wow, okay, big difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
The stronger example uses powerful, emotive adjectives like appalling, systemic, outrageous, unequivocal. It conveys urgency, moral outrage, a call to action. It immediately hooks the reader and signals the gravity of the writer's stance.
So by consciously thinking about and applying these 5 characteristics, you really elevate your writing. It goes from just informative to truly compelling and clear. It's not just about being correct, it's about maximizing your strategic impact.
Absolutely. They ensure your message isn't only understood, but maybe even felt, and that your reader is engaged and critically persuaded right from the very first sentence of each new paragraph.
Now, this isn't just, ivory tower advice for academic essays, right? These principles must be incredibly powerful, maybe even more so in professional settings, where clarity and efficiency are absolutely critical.
Unquestionably. In the demanding world of workplace, documents think executive summaries, client proposals, detailed technical reports, adopting that top-down approach, which means strategically placing your topic sentence right at the beginning of each paragraph, becomes a crucial time saver, an efficiency multiplier.
Because people are busy.
Exactly. Busy colleagues, time-crunched clients, discerning supervisors, they need to grasp the main message instantly without having to dig for it in a dense block of text. It fosters immediate comprehension and strategic clarity. Those are invaluable currencies in any fast-paced, results-driven environment.
And we often see this idea extend beyond just the paragraph level, don't we? Things like headings in a longer document can serve a really similar purpose, acting almost like mini topic sentences for larger sections.
Precisely. Headings and topic sentences work together, like a tiered navigation system for your reader. Headings are the macro-level signposts. They let readers quickly skim and identify the sections most relevant to their immediate needs. This is invaluable when people need information fast. They allow a reader to jump directly to the precise information they need, without having to read through an entire, potentially dense document. It's really about respecting your reader's time and optimizing their access to your core message.
Okay, so we've laid that rock-solid foundation with a compelling topic sentence, that clear promise to the reader. What comes next in strategically building out the paragraph? It's time to give it substance, right? Depth and, crucially, persuasive power. You called the supporting sentences the meat inside the bun. They're what make the argument truly satisfying, not just a fleeting thought.
That analogy works well, yeah. These sentences form the robust body of your paragraph, and their job is multifaceted and critical. They have to explain, they have to prove, and they have to significantly enhance the controlling idea you set up in your topic sentence.
Explain, prove, enhance. Got it.
Without truly robust and compelling support, your main idea just stays as an assertion, right? A claim without substance, rather than a fully developed, convincing, and maybe actionable point. In terms of like how many, most well-structured paragraphs typically benefit from maybe 3 to 6 powerful supporting sentences.
3 to 6, okay.
Yeah, that range usually strikes a good balance.
Yeah.
Enough detail to be convincing without getting too wordy or overwhelming your audience. It's about precision, not just throwing in sentences.
Now, when you're building the bigger picture, the architecture of a whole document, selecting the most effective primary support for your main thesis is absolutely critical. It's about carefully choosing the most impactful points that will be the bedrock for your argument. How do we make sure we're not just gathering stuff, but strategically selecting the very best arguments?
Right. Primary support forms the foundation for your body paragraph's topic sentences. So to be truly convincing and effective, it really needs to meet 3 crucial interconnected criteria.
What are they?
First, your supporting information must be incredibly specific. Generic statements, however well-intentioned, just don't cut it when you're building a compelling, undeniable case. You need concrete examples, precise data points, granular details, focused, undeniable information. Specific examples provide that irrefutable evidence. They give the reader something narrow, tangible, undeniable to focus on. They leave very little room for doubt about your claim's validity. Generalities, while maybe offering context, critically lack the compelling power, the persuasive force, the intellectual weight of specificity. They just don't anchor your argument effectively.
Okay, specificity first. What's second? This sounds like a common pitfall, even for careful researchers.
It is. Every single supporting point must be absolutely relevant to the overarching thesis or the central argument of your entire piece of writing. It's incredibly easy to get sidetracked by interesting but ultimately irrelevant details.
Yeah, you find something cool and want to include it.
Exactly. It's a discipline. Strong primary support must directly and unequivocally show, explain, or prove your main argument without veering off into tempting but ultimately irrelevant details or tangents. It's a natural tendency, especially after doing a lot of research, to want to include every fascinating bit you found. But truly effective writers cultivate the discipline to resist this. They meticulously choose examples and data points that directly and powerfully connect back to their thesis. Everything in that paragraph, every single sentence, has to earn its place by reinforcing and deepening the central argument. Any detour just dilutes your impact.
Okay, specific and relevant. What's the third quality?
Third, Your support needs to be developed with substantial detail. This is where you move beyond just making a claim to actually demonstrating the thorough discussion and deep understanding your writing requires. It showcases the depth of your thinking.
Show your work, basically.
Pretty much. Using detailed support strategically tells your readers that you've exhaustively considered all the relevant facts, that you've done your homework, and that you've carefully selected only the most precise and pertinent information to enhance your viewpoint. This depth not only builds undeniable credibility, but also allows for the development of a truly comprehensive argument. It shows you haven't just skimmed the surface, but have really dug into the complexities of your topic. It's about building trust through intellectual rigor.
Okay, so we need support that is specific, relevant, and detailed. But what actual forms can this powerful evidence take? What kind of material are we talking about here to really bolster our claims?
Right. There are several potent types of evidence you can strategically use to back up your claims and explain your topic sentence effectively. Each serves a slightly different but crucial persuasive purpose.
Okay, like what?
First, you can use reason. This means providing a clear, logical explanation for why something is true or why a particular action should definitely be taken. For instance, a sentence like, "The persistent refusal of the baby boom generation to embrace widespread retirement is fundamentally contributing to the current structural scarcity of available executive-level job opportunities," offers a logical, socioeconomic reason for a specific market situation.
Okay, reason. What else?
Next, there's fact. This is generally undisputable, verifiable information. It provides an objective, empirical foundation for your argument, grounding it in reality,
Hard data.
essentially.
Right.
For example, stating, "Recent economic analyses confirm that a growing proportion of nuclear families now demonstrably rely on the financial contributions of older, often retired, relatives for economic stability," presents a verifiable factual statement. It can provide robust context or support for a broader point about changing social or economic structures.
Then we have statistic, which brings that undeniable power of numbers to the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Numerical data lends compelling quantitative weight to your points. A statistic like current labor reports indicate that nearly 10% of working-age adults are presently experiencing long-term unemployment in the United States, a figure that has fluctuated only marginally in the last fiscal quarter, offers a concrete, measurable, and difficult-to-refute piece of evidence. It adds significant weight to your claims.
And a classic, but always powerful one, the quotation or testimony,
Right.
bringing in other voices.
Yes. Direct words from someone, maybe someone with unique insight or recognized authority, can dramatically enhance the authenticity or authority of your point. For instance, a quote like, "We will not permit this systemic injustice to persist unchallenged," unequivocally declared Senator Anya Sharma during her recent address to the Judiciary Committee, provides a direct, impactful voice. And it's important to strategically distinguish between an eyewitness who has direct personal experience and adds that raw, lived authenticity, and an expert witness who has extensive specialized experience, rigorously studies facts, provides authoritative commentary, and thus adds significant, often decisive credibility.
Okay, eyewitness versus expert witness. Good distinction. And finally,
Finally, we have the broad and very versatile category of example. An example is a specific illustrative instance or a concrete illustration that really clarifies or powerfully demonstrates your point. Last year, the multinational conglomerate Tech Solutions, Inc. strategically offered early retirement packages to senior management at the relatively young age of 55,
Yep.
a move that ignited considerable internal debate. That serves as a concrete, relatable example of maybe a broader corporate trend or policy.
right.
And within examples, you can also integrate personal observation. This is basically your own carefully considered testimony or relevant experience. This could involve, say, using your unique background as one of 5 siblings to intelligently discuss the often overlooked benefits of a large family on fostering adaptive social development.
So it's clear that having this whole toolbox of different evidence types is key, rather than just relying on one method. It's about choosing the right tool for the specific job you're trying to do in that paragraph.
Precisely. The strategic selection of the type of support you use depends entirely on your specific objective, the nuances of your argument, and maybe even the sophistication of your audience. For a persuasive argument, facts, solid statistics, and concrete, verifiable examples are often far more potent and intellectually compelling than just relying on generalized personal opinions or claims without backup. A diverse, strategically chosen range of evidence builds a much stronger, more credible, and ultimately more persuasive case.
So, given we need such high quality, reliable information, where do we, as informed communicators, actually find this goldmine of trustworthy data and insight?
Well, there's a truly vast pool of resources out there, but critically, you should always prioritize highly reliable sources. This ensures your reader takes your point seriously and, just as importantly, maintains your own intellectual credibility.
Okay, so reliable sources like,
Think established reference books, scholarly encyclopedias, reputable academic and governmental websites, those .gov or .edu sites. Also, meticulously researched biographies or autobiographies, authoritative maps, comprehensive dictionaries, respected journalistic sources like major newspapers or investigative magazines, direct interviews with subject matter experts. You can even draw upon your own rigorously vetted previous experience or conduct your own primary structured research.
and you mentioned websites, a particularly vital tip for navigating the huge, sometimes overwhelming amount of information online today.
Absolutely. You have to exercise extreme discernment when evaluating online information. As I said, websites ending in .gov or .edu are generally considered inherently more reliable than those ending in .com or .org
Why is that?
because they typically represent governmental or established educational institutions that usually adhere to rigorous standards for information accuracy and peer review. For any formal informational or academic documents, it is almost always best practice to completely avoid wikis and most blogs.
Right, because anyone can edit them.
Exactly. They're frequently subject to unverified inaccuracies, inherent biases, or can be easily edited and manipulated without robust fact-checking or editorial oversight. Always, without exception, critically question where your information comes from and what potential bias it might have.
Okay, let's try to pull all these elements together with a clear, practical illustration. Imagine our core topic for a paragraph is the compelling benefits of modern hybrid cars.
Okay, good example. Here's how a truly well-constructed paragraph, artfully integrating various types of strategically chosen supporting sentences, might look. Starting, of course, with a potent topic sentence. The strategic adoption of hybrid vehicle technology offers a myriad of compelling and multifaceted advantages to the discerning contemporary consumer.
Okay, strong start. Sets the stage for positive benefits.
Right. Now, for the supporting structure. First, these vehicles consistently achieve a remarkable 20% to 35% superior miles per gallon efficiency compared to even the most fuel-efficient traditional gas-powered cars.
This is a powerful statistic, hard number.
Exactly. Then, second, their innovative powertrain designs result in demonstrably minimal emission outputs, particularly during low-speed urban driving scenarios, thereby significantly reducing their environmental footprint.
Okay, that's a verifiable fact about their eco-impact.
Correct. Next. Furthermore, by drastically reducing their reliance on volatile fossil fuels, hybrid cars inherently contribute to a broader energy independence, which in turn exerts downward pressure on fluctuating global fuel prices, benefiting all consumers.
Ah, so that's the reason explaining the why behind a benefit.
Precisely. Cause and effect. Now let's make it relatable. For instance, consider the case of Alex, a recent convert to hybrid technology, who, 2 years post-purchase, has repeatedly expressed profound satisfaction with the vehicle's consistent performance and unexpected financial savings.
That's our example. Makes it tangible through a person.
Yep. And we can amplify that personal touch with a direct quotation. "It is unequivocally the most economically viable vehicle I have ever owned," she stated in a recent interview. "The operational expenditures, from fuels and maintenance, are drastically lower than any previous gas-powered vehicle I've possessed, proving the investment pays for itself."
Adds that authentic voice, more credibility.
Definitely. And finally, our concluding sentence, tying everything together. Given the compelling confluence of superior fuel efficiency, reduced environmental impact, and tangible long-term cost savings, it is highly probable that a growing segment of the informed consumer market will increasingly emulate Alex's sagacious decision in the very near future.
Wow. You can really appreciate how each sentence meticulously builds on the topic, offering diverse yet connected forms of evidence. They all work together to fully and persuasively develop that central idea from the topic sentence. It makes the argument not just understandable, but really compelling, hard to argue with. Okay, so we've meticulously laid that unshakable foundation with a clear topic sentence, and we've filled it out with robust, diverse, compelling supporting details. Now, the critical final act. How do we bring that paragraph to a truly satisfying, impactful, and memorable close? What's the sophisticated role of that often maybe glossed over final sentence?
The concluding sentence is, in fact, absolutely pivotal. Its strategic function is to artfully synthesize, to draw together all the ideas you've carefully presented within that paragraph, and to subtly remind the reader of the main point, your original topic sentence, but, and this is the crucial part, without just resorting to dull, uninspired repetition.
Right. Shouldn't feel like you're just saying the same thing again.
Exactly. It should never feel redundant. Instead, it should feel like an indispensable, satisfying summary, maybe offering a fresh perspective or even a forward-looking insight.
So it's less like an echo and more like a sophisticated bookend, kind of framing the whole argument within the paragraph.
That's a great way to put it. Visualize the topic and concluding sentences as the perfectly matched top and bottom bun, elegantly framing that rich, satisfying meat of your supporting details. They mirror each other in their essential core message, yet they deliver it from distinct viewpoints, offering either a new angle or a nuanced summary. Let's revisit our hybrid car example again to highlight this strategic mirroring.
Okay.
Our initial topic sentence was, "The strategic adoption of hybrid vehicle technology offers a myriad of compelling and multifaceted advantages to the discerning contemporary consumer." And its masterful concluding sentence was, "Given the compelling confluence of superior fuel efficiency, reduced environmental impact, and tangible long-term cost savings, it is highly probable that a growing segment of the informed consumer market will increasingly emulate Alexis Agage's decision in the very near future."
Ah, okay. I see the connection. Notice the sophisticated word choices there, like using advantages in the topic and then confluence of benefits in the conclusion. And how the conclusion doesn't just repeat, but it synthesizes key supporting points mentioned earlier, like fuel efficiency, environmental impact, cost savings. It re-emphasizes the core idea without sounding like a lazy copy-paste. It adds weight, not redundancy.
Precisely. And a paramount, absolutely non-negotiable rule for any effective concluding sentence is this: never introduce any new, undeveloped ideas.
Ah, don't open a new can of worms at the end.
Exactly. Its singular strategic purpose is to provide a profound sense of completion for that specific paragraph, not to abruptly launch new discussions or drop in information that hasn't been meticulously developed and supported within that paragraph's boundaries. Doing so would fundamentally fracture the paragraph's focus, undermine its coherence, and significantly weaken its persuasive power. Keep it focused on closure for this idea.
Okay, so beyond just summarizing, what are the different strategic functions a concluding sentence can actually serve? It sounds like there's a whole palette of options for a skillful close.
There are indeed several highly effective ways a concluding sentence can strategically function, each adding a different layer of closure and impact.
Like what?
First, it can subtly restate the main idea, but in a fresh, maybe more impactful way. For instance, if your topic sentence established, "Childhood obesity represents an escalating public health crisis within affluent Western nations," your conclusion might elegantly rephrase this to reinforce the urgency without repeating verbatim.
Okay, restate differently.
Second, it can skillfully synthesize the key points that were robustly developed in the paragraph's body. If those points detailed things like sedentary digital lifestyles, pervasive access to highly processed foods, and systemic failures in parental health education are among the manifold factors exacerbating childhood obesity, your concluding sentence could artfully weave these threads into a concise, powerful summary statement.
Pull the threads together. Got it.
Third, it can powerfully draw a reasoned conclusion or logical inference that comes directly from the evidence presented in the paragraph. For example, these alarming epidemiological statistics unequivocally indicate that without immediate, targeted, and multisectoral intervention, the trajectory of childhood obesity rates will continue its inexorable ascent. It states the logical outcome.
Makes sense. What else?
Fourth, a well-crafted concluding sentence might strategically pose a prediction, offer a cogent suggestion, or formulate a definitive recommendation based on the preceding information. An example could be, based on this longitudinal research, it is projected that over 60% of children in developed nations could confront the grave reality of morbid obesity by the year 2030, unless preemptive and aggressive public health strategies are swiftly implemented. Looks forward, suggests action.
Oh, okay.
And fifth, it can powerfully offer an additional insightful observation or a profound final thought about the controlling idea, providing a sort of lingering intellectual resonance, something like, at its core, the burgeoning epidemic of childhood obesity represents not merely a medical challenge, but an entirely preventable societal tragedy, demanding collective moral imperative. Leaves the reader thinking. Each of these approaches, when executed precisely, brings a sophisticated sense of closure, while powerfully reinforcing the paragraph's core message and making it more memorable.
Okay, we've now constructed the individual, powerful pieces of our paragraph. strong topic sentence, the rigorously supported details, the impactful conclusion. But how do we make sure these distinct segments don't just sit next to each other awkwardly? How do they flow smoothly, one into the next, so our reader never feels a jarring jump or gets lost?
That, host, is exactly where sophisticated transitions become absolutely indispensable. A transition is far more than just a connecting word like and or but. It's a precisely engineered bridge, a guiding light, a word or phrase that illuminates the intricate logical relationship between ideas.
The glue.
The linguistic glue, exactly. It ensures your paragraph moves with an almost imperceptible fluidity from the topic sentence, through the supporting details, and into the resonant conclusion. They subtly guide the reader through your precise thought process, holding the whole intellectual structure together.
Let's revisit our hybrid car example one more time to really look at those strategic transitions that knitted it together. Remember, there are numerous advantages. First, they get more miles. Second, they produce few emissions because they don't require gas, given the low running costs.
Precisely. Words like first and second are classic transition words indicating sequence, clarifying the order of your points. Because strategically signals a consequence or provides an explanation for what came before. And for a concluding sentence, you might explicitly use a summarizing transition like in conclusion or therefore, or, as in our example, that implied summary embedded within given the low running costs. These carefully chosen words and phrases aren't just decorative. They are cognitive signposts on an intellectual roadmap, explicitly telling your reader how each idea connects to and builds upon the last one.
So what are some advanced categories, maybe some useful transition words and phrases that our listeners, as seasoned communicators, can add to their strategic writing toolkit to really elevate their prose?
Certainly. For supporting sentences, you can leverage a whole range of transitional phrases to achieve specific rhetorical effects, to add information smoothly. Things like furthermore, moreover, in addition, and extending this point, another key factor.
Okay.
To signal contrast or comparison with precision.
Yeah.
Including, however, conversely, on the other hand, similarly, in stark contrast, by comparison, nevertheless.
Right.
To provide specific examples clearly. Like, for instance, specifically, to illustrate, a case in point, consider the example of. To denote order or sequence logically, such as initially, subsequently in the first place, following this, concurrently, next, finally.
Got it.
And to indicate result or consequence definitively. Like, therefore, consequently, as a direct result, hence, for this reason, thus, in effect.
And what about for those concluding sentences?
For concluding sentences, some highly effective transitional phrases include, in conclusion, to summarize, ultimately, in essence, therefore, on balance, in retrospect, considering all, in summation, it becomes clear that. These phrases clearly signal to the reader that you are expertly bringing that specific intellectual discussion to a definitive and satisfying close.
And just like with those perfectly crafted topic sentences, these sophisticated transitions must be absolutely indispensable in professional communication, right? They must bring clarity and flow to reports, memos, critical emails.
They absolutely do. Transitions are like the silent architects of coherence in any text. They expertly guide your reader through even the most complex documents, illuminating the relationships not just between sentences, but critically, between entire paragraphs. For instance, when you're crafting effective instructional memos or maybe standard operating procedures, using phrases like before you commence, the initial step involves subsequently, upon completion of this stage, next you must, and finally ensure that, provides an unambiguous logical template for the reader to follow. It ensures every step is not just understood, but executed with precision in the correct sequence. That prevents misunderstanding and dramatically increases operational efficiency.
Now, we've rightly spent a lot of time emphasizing the topic sentence leading the way, acting as that powerful, immediate signpost right at the beginning of a paragraph. But are there advanced strategic situations where it might actually appear somewhere else? Are there valid, maybe even more impactful variations to this standard top-down structure?
Indeed, there are. While putting it first remains the most universally effective and often the clearest approach, especially in formal academic and informational writing where immediate clarity is key. The topic sentence can be strategically repositioned to achieve distinct rhetorical effects. The key, though, lies in understanding when and, more importantly, why to use these variations, rather than just mixing things up for the sake of it.
Okay, so the most common and arguably the most universally effective is the topic sentence at the beginning, where the paragraph moves clearly from the general statement to specific supporting details.
That's the classic foundational structure. Let's consider this example about reality TV. After critically reviewing this week's abysmal television guide, a singular, profoundly unsettling thought consumed me. Why are we, as a society, still being relentlessly bombarded by the inane spectacle of reality shows? This season, the relentless plague of unscripted manufactured drama continues to darken our cultural airwaves. Along with the predictable return of a few viewer favorites, we are once again to be cursed with yet another mind-numbingly vacuous creation. Prisoner, for instance, purports to follow 8 suburban housewives who have ostensibly chosen to be incarcerated for a duteous pseudo-psychological experiment. Elite preview already displays the predictable histrionics. I truly dread to imagine what producers will conjure next season. But if any of them are inadvertently reading this, cease and desist. We have endured more than enough reality television to last several lifetimes.
Oh, okay. Strong feelings there.
Definitely. But structurally, notice the very first sentence masterfully states the main idea and the writer's profound dislike for reality TV. The sentences that follow then meticulously provide specific, vivid examples and details, like the fictional show Prisoner, to robustly support that initial, potent general statement. This is that classic general-to-specific movement, favored in most academic and persuasive writing for its directness and immediate impact.
Okay. Then there's the powerful technique of strategically placing the topic sentence at the end. You said this is often used in persuasive writing, where you carefully build your case, present your evidence, before delivering the final, conclusive point.
Absolutely. This approach strategically flips the usual flow. It moves from specific observations or evidence towards a broader general conclusion. Take this example focusing on animal senses. Just last year, a remarkable feline separated from his family, astonishingly traversed an arduous 130 miles to successfully reunite, despite never having previously visited their new residence. This extraordinary feat vividly underscores an innate navigational ability. Similarly, a service dog in my immediate neighborhood possesses the uncanny capacity to accurately predict an epileptic seizure, reliably ensuring his safety. When juxtaposed against the acute sensory capabilities evident across much of the animal kingdom, our own human senses often appear surprisingly muted, almost dull by comparison.
Ah, I see. You start with the amazing cat, then the amazing dog.
Exactly. Specific, compelling anecdotes build a foundation of evidence. This inductive approach carefully prepares the reader to readily accept the concluding general statement that animal senses often surpass human senses. It's a very effective rhetorical strategy to gently guide the reader towards your ultimate conclusion, making it feel like a natural discovery.
And sometimes we see the topic sentence placed strategically right in the middle of a paragraph. This can add maybe a narrative feel or a build-up, often seen in more creative writing or personal stories.
This mid-paragraph placement can indeed be remarkably engaging, creating a dynamic reading experience. For example, in a paragraph exploring anxiety and breathing exercises, for what felt like an eternity, I grappled with debilitating, severe anxiety every single time I was faced with an academic examination. Hours before, my heart would begin to pound erratically, my legs would tremble. Sometimes I would become physically paralyzed. Last year, I was finally referred to a specialist and at long last discovered a remarkably simple yet profoundly effective method to control my anxiety-targeted breathing exercises. It seems almost deceptively straightforward, but by conscientiously practicing just a few minutes, a couple of hours prior to an exam, I progressively regained control. These exercises actively help to regulate my heart rate. Better yet, they necessitate no pills, no equipment, and demand very little time. It is truly astounding how simply mastering correct breathing techniques has empowered me to effectively manage my once crippling anxiety symptoms.
So you start with the problem, build up to the solution in the middle of the breathing exercises, and then explain how it works afterwards.
Precisely. The writer uses a personal anecdote to build to the main point in the middle. The sentences before set the scene, and the sentences after expand on how the techniques help. Now, if you choose to use this structure in more formal academic or professional writing, it's absolutely critical to make sure the paragraph still maintains an unwavering focus on only one major topic. Don't let it wander off.
What about paragraphs that, well, seem to have no explicit topic sentence at all? Are they just, I don't know, breaking the rules, or is there something else going on?
That's an astute observation, and it points to a more advanced stylistic choice. Occasionally, particularly in highly descriptive or deeply immersive narrative writing, the main idea of a paragraph is intentionally implied rather than overtly stated.
Ah, implied?
Yes. The content itself, through a careful accumulation of vivid details, evocative imagery, and sensory language, powerfully conveys the central concept. It's an advanced technique that relies heavily on the writer's skill in maintaining focus and the reader's ability to make the connection.
Okay, give us an example of an implied topic sentence.
Sure. Consider this highly descriptive portrayal of a character named Luella. Heaving herself laboriously up the creaking staircase, Luella found it necessary to pause for breath several agonizing times, her frail body protesting with every ascent. A faint wheeze escaped her lips as she eventually sank, with an audible sigh, into the worn wooden rocking chair. Tao approached her with an almost reverential caution, as if any sudden movement might cause her to instantly crumble into dust. He meticulously studied her face, a canvas like ancient parchment, stretched so finely across her fragile bones he could almost discern the decaying muscle beneath the translucent skin. Luella responded with a slow, toothless grin, a testament to faded memories.
Wow, okay, yeah. Even though no single sentence says Luella is extremely old and frail, the entire paragraph, through those carefully chosen details, paints that picture undeniably vividly. Her difficulty moving, the wheezing, the description of her skin, the toothless grin. It all adds up.
Exactly. This technique, when masterfully done, works exceptionally well when the writer has an ironclad grip on their singular focus. And the descriptive details are potent enough to forge a clear, unified, unmistakable impression. However, it is paramount to stress that in informational documents, especially within demanding professional or academic contexts, it is almost always strategically better to avoid implied topic sentences.
What is that?
Readers in those environments usually operate under significant time constraints. They often lack the patience or the inclination to sift through details to infer your main point. For optimal clarity, maximum efficiency, and undeniable impact, strategically positioning that explicit topic sentence right at the very beginning of your paragraph remains, almost without exception, the clearest and most effective approach. Your goal as a responsible communicator should be to make it as effortless as possible for your reader to immediately grasp your essential message.
So we've really journeyed through the intricate world of paragraph construction today. We started with that crucial foundation, the topic sentence, moved through the sturdy architecture of supporting details and strong evidence, and wrapped up with solid conclusions and those smooth transitions. We've dissected how each sophisticated component, when you consciously use it, contributes not just to making your writing clear, but profoundly compelling, strategically impactful, and just undeniably effective. It's a structure that doesn't just hold your ideas, it actually empowers them.
That's right. It's really critical to remember that the inherent power of your ideas isn't just amplified, it's truly unleashed when they are meticulously presented within a well-structured paragraph. It's about more than just organizing words on a page. It's about building a solid, transparent, intellectual framework for your thoughts, ensuring every single sentence serves a precise purpose, guides your reader effortlessly from one point to the next, and fosters not just fleeting understanding, but hopefully lasting retention and maybe even action.
So the next time you sit down to write, whether it's that crucial client email, maybe a high-stakes report for your boss, or a carefully researched essay for studies, I really challenge you to consciously engage with these elements we've discussed. Ask yourself, with real intellectual honesty, is my topic sentence not just clear, but genuinely engaging and strategically precise? Do my supporting details provide truly specific, undeniably relevant, and sufficiently detailed evidence to really back it up? Does my conclusion bring the whole mini journey of the paragraph to a satisfying and impactful close, offering maybe a fresh insight without just repeating? And do my transitions, those subtle linguistic bridges, guide my reader smoothly and logically from one compelling idea to the next?
Consistently applying these advanced principles will genuinely and profoundly transform your communication. It will elevate you, making you a more effective, a more persuasive, and ultimately a more trusted and influential writer in virtually any context, across all forms of communication. It's really a skill that pays strategic dividends far beyond just the written page. It impacts how clearly and powerfully you convey your thoughts, your vision, your expertise in every single professional and intellectual interaction you have.
So consider this then, as you embark on your next writing task. If a single, masterfully crafted paragraph has the potential power to decisively change a reader's perspective, or to swiftly clarify a seemingly impossible complex issue, or maybe even sway a critical decision, what could an entire document, meticulously built brick by perfectly placed brick using these principles, achieve for your most vital messages, your professional goals, or your most ambitious projects?
Indeed. Ponder the immense responsibility, but also the profound opportunity that inherently resides within every single sentence you compose, every paragraph you construct. How will you now strategically leverage this deeper understanding to ensure your voice isn't just heard among the noise, but is truly understood, powerfully remembered, and maybe even decisively acted upon? The choice and the mastery is really up to you.
Cascade me where brains go to broadcast. Cascade me, knowledge speaks, tuition sleeps.